Welcome back, folks. How's everybody doing? Rudy, Alpha Investments. So, I guess I've had enough messages about it, so we'll do a discussion on the state of everything going on. And first, let's start with the obvious. There was a Black Lotus that sold, I don't know, 6 months ago or 4 months ago. I'll put a little pop-up here over here and do some fancy computer work and put some effort into this. But apparently, long story short, a couple months ago, a Black Lotus sold for like 25 grand. And then recently, a couple weeks ago, it sold for like half, like 50 cents on the dollar, like maybe 10, 15 grand. I'll get the exact stuff on there. And of course, people are saying, Rudy, oh my God, see, that's what you get. So we have a lot of different perspectives of this. We have the half the camp of people who say Rudy's just trying to, fearmonger and scare everybody into dumping their stuff and being homeless. And then you have the other half of the people that are just saying, see, I told you investing in magic cards was bad. And then, of course, you have everybody just saying, Rudy pushes the market up and manipulated. Now he's pushing it down a minute. So no matter which way you report on the subject, people can build their own perspective. I mean, it's just, there's no way. I mean, no matter what you talk about, it can be skewed positively or negatively based on the context of the conversation. So, first we'll talk about what do I think about it. I mean, I really don't have much to say about it. I just think it kind of is what it is. Again, we're in a 2020 Corona crash recession. We're in a recession, hopefully it'll last short term for most people and families out there. Most likely it could be 1, 2, 3 quarters. If it gets real bad and it gets prolonged, yeah, it could last 12 months or longer. But I can't predict the future. And I do want to address the weird aspect of why everybody likes to bash when like they see someone on eBay and take a loss. That person lost half their money. That goes back to what I talked about many months ago and even in 2019 about we live in this really bizarre culture where people literally like get off to just the failure and like disasters and problems. We have this thing where it's one of those where every one of you watching, like for example, like with me, with every person watching, I would say there's probably like an 80% of most people want someone successful to fail, while 1 or 2 of the, or 10 or 20%, 1 or 2 of the 10 people want somebody to be successful and is happy and gives them something to thrive for and motivation. We live in this strange culture where failure is more satisfying than success. Success gives us a strange reaction of, envy, uncomfortableness. It's not fair. The system's rigged. We live in a very strange time, everybody. Some people point the fingers towards capitalism, which, I'm sure there's some fault there. Then other people point their fingers to just the overall, the way the middle class and the culture is in the United States in 2020. And I'm sure there's some fault there. You can build a case for and against in every category of however you want to look at it. But I just really find it, I just want to give a quick opinion here for those of you who don't want to watch this 20-minute video. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to fail. It's okay to lose money and make a mistake. Like I see that listing with that Black Lotus and some people ask me, Rudy, were you the winning bidder who bought it for half price? No, I didn't. I probably would have bid on that one, but I completely missed that listing. I can't catch them all type thing. Was that a Pokemon reference? I can't literally bid and get them all. There's just too many at this point. But I don't understand the concept of, oh my God, that product went down in price. Did you see that person lose 10 grand on a Black Lotus? Oh my God. Like, I don't understand. It's like saying, do we all go around now? And yesterday when I went to the grocery store, I saw there was little numbers above everybody's head, digital holograms that showed how much money they had lost in their retirement account. Do people walk around the grocery store yelling at everybody how much money they lost in their retirement account from the stock market declining? Do people do that? I don't. You see what I'm getting at? In other words, I don't understand the perspective of, oh yeah, I knocked on my neighbor's house the other day, and they bought their house last year, and it dropped 10% in value. And I literally toilet papered their house and made fun of them for overpaying by $20,000. Like, I don't understand the concept of it. And I find the whole culture around kind of the, being afraid to be wrong. It's almost a little concerning, and it's a little sad. It's disappointing. Because going out there and taking chances and investing, whether you're buying Pogs, Beanie Babies, Fallen Empires, Mujik Yu-Gi-Oh!ing, poking your mom, whatever you're buying is really indifferent because there's no way to make fun of or praise an individual until the future unfolds. And I don't care who you are, you can't predict the future. We've talked about this many times on the channel. Yeah, I've done many finance videos where we talk about, people ask me, Rudy, I got free student loan money. Should I invest in the stock market? Should I buy magic cards? No, because you can't predict it. And you could be on the hook on making those payments, and you may not have the cash flow to handle those payments and live your life. So your leverage is leverage is that weapon of massive consumption destruction. And leverage is the most powerful yet dangerous tool in the world of finance. No company really goes out of business without leverage. Some form of leverage always plays a part. Looking at you, Enron. Looking at you, Lehman. Looking at you, the old AIG. Wait, bailout. Looking at you, Bear Stearns. Wait, bailout. Looking at you, Freddie and Fannie. Wait, bailout. Wait, looking at you, Wells Fargo. Okay, everybody had bailouts. So I think everybody just has a very poor perspective on investing and getting it right and wrong. It's okay, I've gotten a lot of things wrong in Magic. I said From the Vaults were terrible investments. Remember that? Boy, that was a bad move. I should have been buying From the Vaults like crazy. I remember that video. Man, was I wrong on that. And then I remember the best set I thought was going to be a huge hit was Origins. I remember thinking the Magic Origins being the last core set was going to be a huge success. And it didn't really happen. It's not a garbage fire. It's not selling for below $80 a box that the patrons paid a couple years ago, the $79.99 price point. It's worth what? Maybe $120 a box? After all these years, I thought for sure that would be pushing like $200, and I was wrong. It really wasn't worth the years of waiting. You made a little bit return, but it's really just, didn't turn out that great. But if you held to the whole, diversifying and, doing a spread against all sealed product, for the example in the world of Magic, you still would have done very well. And I still feel no matter how negative everybody is, it will stand the test of time. The people who stay the course will make it. And if you are stable, you need to be adding to your position in everything across the board. If you have a 401k, you should be increasing your contributions as long as you're going to be stable and you're going to be able to ride the storm out with your company and you're still getting paid, you still have an income. Now again, if you're one of the people furloughed or delayed or deferred, all these silly words going around now, no, investing is not something you should be doing. No, buying Magic is not something you should be doing. No, buying more shares in the stock market is not something you should be doing. You should be making sure your cash positions are safe for yourself and your family to make sure you have your necessities taken care of. But at the same time, everybody, I couldn't believe all these messages I got, even from patrons just saying, Rudy, can you believe that idiot who lost that money on the Black Lotus? And then, of course, some people linked me to Reddit, and apparently there's a post on there. Then some patrons were saying, Rudy, you think the person who bought it today for the 10, 12 for half the price, are they a Timmy too? Is it going to go lower? I don't know. But chances are the person who probably paid half the price as they did many months ago, the risk-reward scenario is very attractive compared to the previous person who probably paid the all-time high type of price, or similar to whatever you can really gauge on that price point. But overall, I just really have an issue with the whole mindset and the negativity towards everything. It's just, I know we're going through a bumpy period, but this was the same crap in '08. While this is worse than '08, in my opinion, it doesn't mean the world is ending. The sun will come out tomorrow, and I personally believe in the United States, I believe in the average American and most people. While a lot of people may be struggling, or maybe there's a lot of people that are dumb, there's a lot of people that are really smart. There's a lot of people that are very successful. There's a lot of people that no matter what they touch, they screw it up. That is how the kind of that bell curve works in all economic societies. Any modern society has the same concept. But just kind of going on the internet and blasting people or blasting Magic or blasting the stock market or blasting diversification or blasting it's a very blanket answer that is, it can really paint a very skewed perspective. And, this is the first time I've been able to film videos during an actual recession where we have major unemployment, jobless claims, just absolutely abysmal numbers. And this is going to be great historical videos and archive to play back in a year and 2 years from now when we're still making videos talking about the new, what do you guys think? Return to Returns, epic Shadows over Return to Ravnica number 14 booster box. Or I'm sorry, Return to New Phyrexia. I know you're coming. I see you out there. I think it's important to have a conversation with everybody that, things are never as bad as they seem, but they're never ever as good as they seem. Yes, reserve list cards went way too expensive too quick. Now they've readjusted. But before that, there was like a 10-year period where they didn't do anything and they were underpriced. It's all relative to everything. We're not done with this video. We're going to keep talking. So, I just think I want people all around the country or world watching this to understand that, life will go on. This is a small drip in the pan, just a little droplet of the grand scheme of life, society, countries, historical time, just cultures, and just empires and countries around the world. This is a very small time. It's a dramatic time, and it feels more impactful because it's outside our normal comfort zone, and there's a lot more danger, and a lot of people are having very tough times, which is a very terrible thing. There's no way to sugarcoat what some people are going through out there. I mean, it just sucks. It is what it is. I mean, when you look at even the world of cardboard and Magic and sports and trading cards and Pokemon, I mean, the consensus is many people, I've heard as high as 60-70% people think the cards, 60-70% of all comic book, Magic cards, and video game independent stores are going to fail. I don't think it's that high, but I do believe it's probably going to be somewhere between 30 and 40% of all actual LGS type businesses will not open back up and will fail. Now, many people have asked me along those lines, Rudy, well, if that many stores, even if a third, like you think, which is a little better than others, even if that many people fail and that many stores don't open up, what about all that inventory hitting the market? Isn't that more downward pressure? Let me give you guys a really nasty truth of reality of most LGS stores. And I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to make a lot of people unhappy. It's going to be very cold. I'm not trying to make myself sound better and Store B or Timmy's Emporium sound worse, but the blunt reality is the average LGS does not have a lot of inventory. The average LGS doesn't have the capital because they're underfunded to carry large positions of any products. I've seen, comic book stores. I've seen ones that are barely in business because they just love comic books and they're just a hobbyist and a fanboy, which is great. They follow their dream, but they're barely making it. They got a side job just to keep the lights on, just to have access to a distributor for Diamond Comics. I've seen the other side of the coin. I've been to comic book stores that have so much inventory, it's insane. They could just live on their inventory like me the rest of their life. And then everybody in between. But the nasty truth is that the average Magic-related LGS has very little inventory of Magic. As the joke used to be in the 90s and early 2000s, if you owned an LGS from 1995 to like 2010, all your retirement plan was just your inventory. It was like your own pseudo 401k by just having extra inventory of all the previous sets of Magic, and the aging process would create your own retirement plan. That used to be a joke between myself and many other store owners in the southeast portion of the United States, between the Florida, Georgia, kind of Alabama, Carolinas area. And, obviously a lot of people feel that's kind of a failed, fallacy at this point because the new products don't age well. Well, again, only time will tell how War of the Spark, Throne of Eldraine, the Guilds and Allegiances, and the core 19s and 20s will age. The only evidence we do have is the new sets, which were still garbage and going to fail, which would be the Kaladesh, Amonkhet. I had to pay $100 a box, and he wasn't even able to sit on that because I just realized the opportunity of a bad set ended up being good long term. It's one of these products where, it does still hold true while nobody wants to verbally acknowledge it. It will hold true, and it will stand the test of time. And I know that most people are just like, oh, God, he's still shilling. Even in the recession, Rudy's still shilling. Thumbs down 5 times, turn the thumb into a circle. And that's cool. Whatever you want to do. And I am very, I'm honored and proud to be the guy that everybody on the internet can bash, make fun of, whatever you want to do. You can make fun of the Kaladesh, you can make fun of my Battle Bond and Amonkhet's and Zendikars, and you can say whatever you'd like to say. Make fun of Rudy shilling, War of the Sparks and Throne of Eldraine collectors boxes and Theros Collectors. Make fun of whatever you want. I'm cool with it. I can take the hits. I've been on YouTube for 4.5 years. It's kind of old news at this point. Every once in a while, it does irritate me, and it's kind of disappointing, but I think in the long enough time frame, reality will take care of itself, and it will speak volumes on its own. I wouldn't be here 4.5 years later with all my supporting and very kind patrons and the videos getting more than a couple hundred views if people realized I was lying every single day. So, but again, back to the original thing. It's okay to be wrong. Back to the original Black Lotus thing. It's okay to be wrong about an investment. Hey, Rudy, but you said things that have been wrong before. You're the guy. You've screwed up stuff. Yeah, I have made mistakes. I'm sorry. I didn't realize some of my viewers were just these epic time travelers that don't make mistakes. And I don't know why people almost have like this phobia of making mistakes. And it almost like it causes a lot of long-term damage and problems to people's personal lives, their family, their loved ones, and their financial decisions long-term, because they almost have a fear of losing money, a fear of being wrong, a fear of, well, I bought, I was one of the people who bought Throne Collectors boxes, even from other stores and people who couldn't pay their bills, and I was paying over $200 a box for Throne Collectors boxes when I couldn't get more from distributors. And yeah, the price came down. And well, yeah, it looks like it came down more than I thought. Now, it looks like Theros Collector boxes, even at $170 a box, or with tax, $180 or $190. Yeah, let's just say $170. Even at low price, well, it looks like they went down more than I thought. Now, it looks like I got that wrong. I thought for sure it'd be able to hold around that $190 to $200. And with tax, it's at $180. So I was off. I don't understand what the big deal is. I don't understand why people aren't allowed to be wrong. It's a very strange time in the social media world when people are like poking fun at the guy who lost money on the Black Lotus situation. If you are that person, by the way, I would love for you to contact me. I know I should have said this earlier in the video when people are still watching. If you're that person who did buy that Black Lotus and you sold it and lost half your money, or if you know that person, tell them to send me an email and provide proof, like a picture of the Lotus or something with your name or something next to it, though I know you are the real person. I would love to know your story, and I would love to share your story and the pros and cons and kind of the whole experience involved. I think that would be a pretty cool video to share with everybody, just to talk about the mindset before, the mindset now, what's going on that led to that decision, why did they originally spend that much, what changed. I think that would be a really good story where we could all talk about it and learn from that. And I think that's a more important conversation to have versus, oh my God, look at that investor lose money. He gets what he deserves. Like, I just don't get that. I just don't, I don't understand that. Like, I guess it feels good to make fun of other people. I guess that's kind of, especially so that person has money. So now I feel better because that person who had money to spend lost that money. So I feel better. Like, I don't understand why people do that to each other. I don't think that's a very healthy thing. And if I had to take a guess, a lot of the people doing that probably don't have the money that that individual had who lost it. And maybe they feel like they would have done a better job managing it, maybe. I'm not sure. So I wanted to point out that was a very important thing I wanted to lace in this video, talking about the whole, it's okay to be wrong and the negativity and the very aggressive things. And to kind of sum up this video here, like I told you guys about a month ago when this stuff in the economy started to really look bad, we're going to see a lot of strange things occur and a lot of true colors come out. We're going to see when the water level goes down, we're going to see who's skinny dipping and the true personality of a lot of people. We're going to see who becomes very rude and aggressive, and we're going to see who's going to stand the test of time. And we're going to see who's really financially weak, financially strong if you're a store owner. And you're going to learn a lot based on the personality and the type of things of people bashing other people and bashing other investors. You're going to learn a lot about those individuals. And unfortunately, most of the time, most of those people just need a hug. Really, most of those people just need to calm down, and maybe they just need someone to talk to. And especially if they're an LGS who's in trouble. Maybe that LGS just needs someone to talk to them. And maybe they need someone to explain or maybe give them some good advice versus just negativity. And I think that alone is far more valuable during a recession. And I think that's really how you navigate bad times, is you be careful. You really don't just give up and become an angry, bitter person. And you always try to push forward. Because I've always been a strong believer. Come on everybody. How many of you out there know somebody who is in a terrible financial situation, but they get up every day and they still go to work, they make bad decisions, they have no money, but they get up the next day and they grind it out. And that's respect, man. I respect people like that. Even if they're a Timmy and they vape, they smoke, they buy lottery tickets and spend their money at Starbucks frappe latte reach-arounds. But you know what? They're a hard worker and they deserve some respect. So that's all I really have today, everybody. I just think we all have a problem with perspective. And I think it's a very disappointing thing, especially in tough times. Be safe.